of Chiefs victories over my silver and black over the years. This milestone day has the Chiefs at the end of what has to be, I'll just say, an incredible 10-year run of wins that includes a constant string of AFC championships, Super Bowls that looked as if the Chiefs are going to pull off a three-peat earlier this year. They didn't. Only to fall in a way that can only be described as sad because Patrick Mahomes was injured in the Chiefs game against the Chargers. And so the photograph that I have here is, well, it's a sad one because, again, it has Mahomes being carried off the field by two people, number 15 in our distance, and it says the end because, well, as of today, the Chiefs are officially out of the NFL playoffs. Unbelievable. Unbelievable it is to say that, to think that just, it seems earlier this year, in February, in New Orleans, the Chiefs had their hands. They had literally history in their grasp. All they had to do was beat the Philadelphia Eagles. Instead of beating the Eagles, the Chiefs went into the Super Bowl game with an alteration on an approach that they were known for. Multiple formations, ball control, short passing, mobile quarterback. Instead, they tried to throw deep downfield. They tried to throw where the quarterback needed more time. And the Eagles' defense was too good to allow them to have that time. And the Chiefs didn't adjust. They were, as a result, just like the New England Patriots against the New York Giants in the 2008 Super Bowl that I attended, the same outcome happened. Mahomes was sacked, beaten up, the offense thrown around in ragdoll fashion at times, and ultimately blown out of the stadium. Now, no, the Giants didn't blow out the Patriots in the 2008 Super Bowl. They didn't. But they were able to win because the Patriots went away from their short passing game that allowed them to run the table that year and come to within one game of immortality, the undefeated season. So, like the Patriots, the Kansas City Chiefs were one game from immortality. But because they didn't stick with what brought them, they lost. And they didn't seem to learn the lesson going into this season. The Chiefs were commonly known for offensive innovation after innovation after innovation. If it wasn't creative shifts or a different way rather, of using orbit motion, which they did early on and during this run. Orbit motion is, when the back or running back goes back like this and then comes around. It was constantly enhancing read option concepts, so that the Chiefs' read option concept was, I either hand off this way or throw that way, but then it was more variations of that with different plays in a seemingly unending variety. And if it wasn't that, then it was many different types of shovel passes. The Chiefs made NFL football offensively fun because it seemed like they were willing to experiment almost on the fly. And it's that willingness to improvise, willingness to try new things, willingness to try adjustments in common approaches that got them the wins in close games. But they didn't do it this year. They didn't do it this year. And so, because they didn't do it this year, uh, what happened was that the close games that they would win became the close games that they lost. The close games they lost. And now I'm watching the Denver Broncos play a fascinating game against the Green Bay Packers. The score is Broncos 27, Packers 26, with still a lot of time left in the fourth quarter. But the Broncos have their own version of an innovative offense with different formations, approaches, ample use of 4-by-1 formations, a lot of short passes, very, very effective, and all done with, again, a mobile quarterback. In this case, Bo Nix. So the stage is set. The pattern is set for offenses of the future. Ask yourself this question: do the Raiders have that kind of offensive design? No. A lot of Raider fans pay attention to who's a quarterback. I have consistently said, pay attention to who the offensive coordinator is. I still say that. Coaching matters. Andy Reid did an incredible job with the Chiefs. I'm not saying the Chiefs are out of it. I mean, in terms of, being able to come back and win next year. But look, this run is over. And the Chiefs have to retool, not in terms of talent. A lot of people say, well, they're old. The Chiefs did not go with their common, constant habit of innovation. They got away from it. Remember the Cowboys game where Mahomes was intercepted right at the 6-yard line trying a glance pass? That type of pass where the quarterback fakes the handoff after taking the shotgun snap to the halfback and then throws to the wide receiver on running the slant, is old hat for the Chiefs. And they literally telegraphed that they were going to do it on that play. And they've done it again and again and again. Actually, Brian Baldinger pointed that out, discussing the final drive of Patrick Mahomes before he got injured. That was the first play that started that drive, that kind of pass. This time to Travis Kelce, okay? So, as Baldinger said, they've done that 100 times at least. And that's the point. They didn't change up from it, it's okay to have a standard, but you've got to understand when to move away from the standard. And if you don't understand when to move away from the standard, what happens is that, as Bill Walsh used to say about not varying your approach, teams will zero in and eat you alive. And that's what happened to the Chiefs this year. So, sayonara. We'll see you next year, Chiefs. But I have to say, the Chiefs organization is a class act, led by their owner, Clark Hunt, who I very much enjoy talking with, who's always granted me an interview, and who's always been willing to listen to my ideas regarding stadium financing when we ran into each other in the bathroom. All right, everybody. I'll talk to you later. Back to football. Looks like the Broncos are driving.